Hello. Tonight I want to talk about my son. Um, in April the 2nd of 2007, my son was murdered and shot down in cold blood. And the chief of police, the one I think that put my name on this blackball list, I think he the one. Well, I don't think it. He covered up my son's murder, lied on my son. Um, a very evil man. And what I was told, okay, it had nothing to do with my son. What happened was my son's cousin was married to this woman, or maybe still married to her. But she was cheating on him with this guy. So the guy was picking at her husband. And so the husband beat him up. So he goes home and get his buddies and his mom and whoever else was there and ran him through town. So he said he ran up to the police station and the police was sitting in the car. So he ran up to the car and the police rolled his window up and locked the door. Didn't try to help him because the chief of police told the workers, now this is what was told to me, that one of the police said that the chief of police said that if them niggers start fighting, let them kill one another. And so that's what he did. But anyway, the cousin saw my son walking with his 2-year-old baby at the time. She's a big girl now, but at that time she was 2, and he had up on his shoulder. So the cousin ran up to him, was telling him what was going on. And then the guy that he had been fighting ran up and hit my son. And asked him what the F he gonna do about it. So he didn't know my son could fight. So when he hit my son said, they said my son handed his little girl to a girl. I don't know who it was that he handed her to. And beat his behind. And his buddies. Said he beat all of them. But the only thing that's bothering me, nobody said that the cousin was fighting. They said all them boys jumped on my son. Some kind of way my son fell and laying on his back, but he was still said he would knock him. He tore them up, knocked one of them out. And said the mama was hitting him in her face with her phone and cut him with a butter knife. Now I saw the scratch on it when they did call me and let me know what was going on. And I was in another whole town like 30 minutes away. And I saw the cut on his chest and his t-shirt and stuff tore off of him. But this is my son. That's my son. This is the year before he was murdered. We were at my sister's funeral in Washington D.C. He got killed the next year. Um, they said that uh, uh the the police, the same police, said he was standing down on the corner while they fight. Now he's standing on the corner looking, and so I reckon he started calling for backup and said police from everywhere came, pulling guns out on my son. Cause my son now, I could tell the truth about my son. When he get mad, it's hard to bring him down. I have to act like a fool to bring him down. And when I start acting crazy, then he'll calm down. And so they said that he walked up to the police and told him it's his fault that all that happened. Because when you see one man running and a gang of people running behind him, and you don't do nothing, it's your fault. But they said all the police were pulling their guns out on my son. Because I can imagine how my son was acting. And because he had to fight all them boys. And they said that like an hour and a half later. No, I'm getting it wrong. I'm getting it wrong. It was after they came with the guns that the police came. After the fight, after the fight, I don't know what happened after the fight, tell you the truth. But like an hour and a half later, they said the father and the brother and the uncle came from South Carolina and got out the truck with pulled guns out on my son. So my son, I wish my son would have been a cop because he'd been here with me today, hopefully. And said my son got out the truck because he was sitting in the truck with his uncle and another guy, and was walking toward them, and they was walking towards him, and the uncle got in between them and asking them, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all putting the guns out on my son. And said that the father of the guys was saying that he just wanted to talk to him. And he was somebody I knew. I knew the guy. And I think he had a problem with my son because he had came to my house. It had been a while, but he had took my grandson, and we looking for my grandson. And I called him up and asked him, do you have my grandson? He said, I'm just taking to get some time. I said, no, you bring my grandson back here. You didn't tell nobody nothing. I don't know what you do. You bring my grandson back here. And so uh, he was like, I guess my son said something to him. Like he trying to cause a problem between me and my daughter. And but I don't know what he about. Just take somebody's child somewhere. He got plenty of toys. But anyway, I didn't know my son has had words with him. But that's why he was coming with guns and stuff like that. But anyway, um, that's when they called the police and stuff. And the police came. When they came, they pulled guns out on my son. And then my son's girlfriend called me and told me that they put guns put out on my son. And it was just a few minutes later. No, it couldn't have been a few minutes later because they shot him about 10:30. Um, but anyway, I know this what it was. They did call me and tell me, and I did go to Roland. It was like maybe about 3:30 or 3 something when all that happened. So I went to Roland, me and my daughter, and he was standing out on the corner, shirt all tore off of him. That's how I saw the cut down his chest. And he was mad. I mean, it take a lot to calm him down. So I asked him, why is you out here and people pulling guns out on you? Why are you out here like that? He said, Mama, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, Mama. He was mad. So I told him, I said, these people ain't through. I said, if they come out here and somebody made me mad because they said he ain't listening to her. When they said that, then blood went up to there. And I said, don't you know if they come out here pulling guns out on you, they're going to have to kill me too? I had to get loud because that boy had done pissed me off. Going to talk about, he ain't listening to her. He did listen to me and he went home. Because he know I was getting ready to cut the food like that. I'll cut the food just like anybody else will. Especially when you people pulling guns out on my son. And he went home because it was like 2 blocks down or we lived on the 3rd block. And so I walked on home. And the boy started riding by, the brother just kept riding by. He was in this 3-toned, a 2 or 3-toned, like a old Cadillac or something, one of them old long cars. It was two or 3 tones, like a burgundy and gold, bronze or something. He just kept riding by, just kept riding. I mean, constantly. I was looking. No, seemed like nobody else wasn't paying no attention but me. I said, "What car is that right there? Keep riding by here." And everybody said, "I don't know," but I think they did know. They just wouldn't tell me. And So we went and sat down on my cousin because she lived right beside our family home. And he just kept riding by. So after a while, my son, he was in there taking a shower. So he come out and started walking. And so the girlfriend went and was trying to tell him to stay in the house, not to go nowhere. And so I saw he wasn't listening to her. So I walked out there and I was telling him, you need to stay in the house because these people is pulling out guns. He said, Mom, I'm just walking to clear my head. I said, well, can't you clear your head in the house? These people pulling guns out on you. He said, Mama, I'm a grown man. If I want to take a walk and clear my head, I'm going to clear my head. And I saw that a couple of weeks before that, my daughter, second oldest daughter, saw a vision of her singing at his funeral. And as I was talking to him, I saw it too. I saw her singing at his funeral. And so I said, well, I tell you what. I said, you need to get you some insurance because I had insurance on all my children from babies. And this guy, because he was somebody introduced me to him. He was a deacon in the church. Black dude. And he told me I could take my insurance policy and put it towards a new insurance policy and take the cash value and put it towards the new one. So when I got the insurance policy, I didn't see the cash value on it. And so I called his head company down, I think it was in Georgia or Florida somewhere. I will write a letter in a minute. And I let them know what he did. And he had cashed in my insurance policy and got the cash value off of it. And so he lost his job. And that night, okay, I'm getting confused now. Okay, after he wouldn't listen to us, he went and got up with his cousins, the other brothers, all of them his brothers. They his first cousin. His daddy and their mama are brothers and sisters. And so the boy that called my son to the car, no, that's who he got in the car with. He got in the car with the boy that called my son to the car to get where he got shot, and that boy cousin and my son cousin, one of the brothers. And so they went out to this guy house. And the boy that called my son to the car, he got a gun from out there. They tried to say that my son had the car, got the gun, but the boy told my daughter that it was Jamel that got the gun. So he the one that had the gun, not my son. And my son, okay, when they came home, he took my son to our family home where my brother lived. And they passed by Geraldine. Geraldine's the one that shot my son. And he told him, so Jamel told Geraldine, he said, I'll be right back, man. Because, all he do go around a circle. And so he dropped my son off and this other guy, which was Jamel's cousin, somebody around my age, dropped them off at our family home. And my cousin, she lived right in front of us, so she said she was watching him because they saw the whole thing of what happened down at the store. Because he had went to the store after he got in the car with his cousins. And I'm getting stuff confused some kind of way. Because I think he was with his cousins first, and then he ended up with Jamel. Because he went to get something to eat. And he was at the store, sitting in the back seat, and the boy ran up to the car, was saying something to him, and they said my son jumped out the back seat and swung, and the boy ran over to where his daddy was. And so his daddy come again pulling out guns, because he was nothing but old coward. But anyway, he got his food, and he wouldn't get back in the car, so he walked. I think that's how he got in the truck with Jamel. He was walking through town, and they said that Raleigh was threatening him, telling him what he was going to do to him. So my son just kept walking. Some kind of way he got in the car with Jamel, and that's when he ended up out in the country to that boy house. And when he was taking him home, they passed by Gerald, and he got out, but he left his jacket because he had on this expensive jogging suit. So he left the jacket in the boy's car, a truck, whatever it was he was driving. And which was just around the corner from our house. So my cousin said that he went in the house, but then he came back out and walked down the sidewalk and turned down by Miss Perlina's house. And said it was not long after that they heard gunshots. Cause my cousins, they went one way, he went one way, and they went another way. They said by the time they got around there, they had done shot him. But what had happened, this girl was talking to my son. She said she was talking to my son, and they call him Vilas. So that's what I named him, Vilas. So they were saying Vilas come. So the boy said Vilas come here, and so the boy that called my son to the car, his mama told me that same thing, that she heard someone say Vilas come here, and then she heard gunshots, but it was her son that said Vilas come here. But Danny Bradshaw told them if they say anything, he was going to get his boys to take care of them. So they didn't say nothing. To this day, they ain't saying nothing. But he can't say nothing because he did. Anyway, my cousin said that the ambulance came. My son was still alive. They let him die because they didn't turn him over. They didn't do nothing. She said she was trying to turn his face because he was choking on his blood. But before he got shot, he was standing talking to this girl. And she said, Jamel said, Vilas, come here. The same thing his mama said. That he said, Vilas, come here. But she didn't say who said it. But it was her son that said, Vilas, come here. And so she said he started walking towards Jamel. She said she didn't even see Geraldine because he was laying down in the car. So he sits up and started shooting at the ground. And my son stopped going towards Jamel and started going towards Geraldine. And said Geraldine jumped out the car and shot my son one time. But had already been shooting at the ground. And ran like a little punk. And said Miss the lady that stayed beside Carrie and them said that she could hear him saying, "What's wrong with me, Mom? Why I do that? Why I do that, Mom? Why I do that?" He said he was just a crying, asking his mama why he did it. And so her boyfriend went and got the car and backed it up in her yard. And they sold the car. It had my son's blood on it. They sold the car, and she packed up and left and went to New York. And she came back though. But that's what happened to my son. And so when we went to court, okay, I didn't know what had happened. He just lied so big because when I went to the, I can't remember if I went to the car or he called me to the car. But I asked him, why was my son still laying face down in the dirt when the ambulance is still there? He never did answer me. He had the nerve to ask me, do you want me to take you somewhere where you can relax? I said, no, I don't want you to take me nowhere. My son laying flat, face down in the dirt, dead. No, I don't want you to take me nowhere. Now, I mean, that man is crazy. So I got out the car and went back over to where my cousins was. And then that's when they took Jamel to the car. where he told Jamel if he tell what happened, he was gonna have his son to take care of him. Yeah, see, they said Jamel couldn't even sleep because that bothered him. So because he didn't know that Gerald was gonna shoot my son, and but Gerald started going out to the club bragging about how he got away with first-degree murder because they did nothing. Which the man told me, the man from Roland told me, they're not going to do nothing about your son. He said Judge Richardson, Danny Bradshaw, which is the chief of police, Johnny Weaver, who was the head of the CIS or something like that, who it was that was supposed to be investigating, and the DA, what was the DA name? Brett, something, whatever I did. The D he retired now because he sorry. Said they all hang out together. Said that they're not gonna help you. And so just what he said is what happened. They didn't help me. Sure didn't. Danny Bradshaw went to court and just lied and lied his behind. I mean, he acted out. He actually act out what he said my son did. Nothing but lies. They told 3 different lies. Danny Bradshaw told a lie. Jamel told a lie. And Geraldine told a lie. Because they sent me a statement from Raleigh that Geraldine said. Jamel came to our house and told a different lie. And then Danny Bradshaw told a lie in court. 3 different lies that they told me. And I couldn't get no help, no kind of legal help. I even called the man down in Magnolia, Georgia. The man that Crump. That's his name, Crump. Whatever that Crump man name. I called his office and the guy said he was his DA, his detective. They couldn't help me. And I called somebody else from I think it was Chapel Hill. They wouldn't help me. They said they was already legally helping somebody in my hometown that dealing with the case. So it had to be Dan Bradshaw. But they didn't do nothing to help my son. But then, like, some few years later, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, because this happened in 2007, I was in the house, and this really strong feeling just came over me. Well, first of all, Danny Bradshaw told me to go to the hospital and identify my son. So we went to the hospital, and we sat down a good hour before anybody came and told me that they put a seal on my son's body. That I couldn't see him. I couldn't identify him. And so they didn't let me see him. Talking about my son uncle identifying him, but that's not his child. That's my child. I should have been able to identify him. They wouldn't even let me near him. And when I saw my son, he had been embalmed and dressed and in his casket the day of his wake. That's when I saw my son. But anyway, it was some years later after we had moved up this way, and I say maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. It had to be like 3 years ago. I was at the second house, not the first house, but the second house. This really strong feeling came over me. I mean, I couldn't even shake it. That these people took my son's organs. And that's why they had a seal on his body, because they stole his organs and they wouldn't let me see him. I mean, it's really strong, and that my son was a sacrifice because my brother is in the Masons. Not that my brother had him sacrificed, but Satan did, because you got to give blood. And see, you people getting in this here Masonic Freemason thing, you got to give a blood sacrifice. And y'all always want to join something trying to be somebody when you don't need a Mason to be somebody. Y'all joining the Freemason, Eastern Stars, all this crap that y'all want to be that is Satan territory. And anytime you join anything that is of Satan, you got to give a blood sacrifice. So my son was a blood sacrifice. And I think my nephew too. My son was 26 years old. My nephew was 28. Didn't even reach 30. Because people want to get in crap that ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. But something that's going to lead you straight to hell if you don't repent from it and denounce it and get out of it. Because you putting a curse on your bloodline. That's why I had to denounce. I denounced it. Because you're not going to curse me. And you're not going to curse my children and my grandchildren. But anyway, during that same time, there was a guy named Charles Johnson. The same group of boys beat Charles with an axe handle and pipes. He didn't die that night. He died some days later. Which they said that he just had brain hemorrhaging. But he had brain hemorrhaging from the beating. Nothing happened to them boys. Not one thing happened to them. Danny Bradshaw talked cash junk about Charles in the newspaper. Danny Bradshaw is a demon from hell. A pure demon. And he may be the one that be attacking me so bad at night. Because whoever it is got pure hate in them. Pure hate. And I think he could be the one. It's somebody that really got a hatred for me. That I don't know who it is. But if it's Danny Bradshaw, I hope he rot in hell. I really do. Because he caused a lot of death in my hometown. Our hometown used to have but one red light. They got maybe two now. But it's still a small town for to have a pure devil being the chief of police in that town. And he trying to force people to sell drugs for him. Because this guy named Timmy. And Timmy was, I guess you could say he was bisexual. Because he was going with one of my friends and that I work with. And he was going with this guy. And so, some kind of way they was keeping the people that own the hotel went on vacation and left Timmy in charge, I guess you could say. But anyway, when they came back, they found Timmy and the guy, the boyfriend, tied up, hog-tied. I think they shot Timmy in the head and cut the boy's throat. They said they locked some people up that were hitchhiking, but Timmy daddy was too afraid for that to be some hitchhikers that killed him. Timmy daddy left town and was on TV and said that Timmy said if anything happened to him, Danny Bradshaw did it. Because Danny Bradshaw wanted him to sell drugs for him. And he wouldn't. So evidently, Danny Bradshaw threatened him. I know Danny Bradshaw was doing a whole lot of stuff that I noticed that he would have some of those black boys to set other boys, drug dealers up. And they would get locked up. But the one that he had to set up wouldn't get locked up. But then he'd come back and lock them up for something. And the girl that actually told me what happened with my son, she wrote me a statement and told me that my son was standing there talking to her. So he had walked up and she called him over and they was talking. And that Jamel called him over to the car, said, Vilas, come here. And when my son, I call him James. Everybody else calls him Vilas. That's his middle name. And he started walking towards the car, and Geraldine jumped up and started shooting at the ground. So she ran, and he shot James. She wrote me a statement, and I made a I think I made a copy of all. I get different people give me statements what they saw that night, except for the people that don't know me. But she said there were other people that actually was out there. They saw what happened, but they too dang on afraid to tell it. But if somebody killed one of their children, they gonna want somebody to tell it. They always say I'm a snitch, and I tell them, yes, I am. I'm a snitch. Don't do nothing. You don't have to worry about me telling nothing. I'm not gonna let you sit in my lap, have a bowel movement in my lap, get up, and I don't say nothing. Because that's what you're doing. Anytime you do something to somebody and you dare them to tell it, you sitting in their lap having a bowel movement, get up and expect them to sit there with the bowel movement in their lap and don't say nothing. So if you don't want me snitching, don't do nothing you ain't got no business doing against me or anybody. You can call me whatever. I don't care about people calling me a snitch. I really don't. Don't be evil and doing stuff against people. But I do believe I just don't have any type of money where I can uh do anything. But I mean that thing came on me so bad or so strong that they stole my son's organs. And I do believe that it did. I do believe it. So that's all I'm gonna talk about right now. I don't know what is going on with my intestines because um, they just like they puffing up or something. I don't know what is going on with my stomach. Um, but anyway, I'm gonna get off of here. That's what I had to say about my son. Mm. So I'm gonna close out now.